It's the 15th century. Christopher Columbus is setting sail across the Atlantic. Vasco da Gama is rounding the Cape of Good Hope. The age of exploration is in full swing, and Europe is buzzing with excitement. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire, a global superpower, decides to sit this one out. No ships to the Americas, no expeditions to find new trade routes. Why? Was it arrogance, overconfidence, or just plain indifference? Today, we're diving deep into the mystery of why the Ottomans skipped the age of exploration. To understand this, we need to remember just how powerful the Ottoman Empire was. In 1453, they captured Constantinople, effectively ending the Byzantine Empire and securing control over one of the most strategic cities in the world. They dominated trade routes between Europe and Asia, acting as gatekeepers for the Silk Road and the spice trade. If you wanted cinnamon for your pie or pepper for your steak, you paid the Ottomans. They were rolling in dough, both literal and metaphorical. Meanwhile, Europe was facing a bit of a crisis. The demand for spices, silk, and other luxury goods was skyrocketing, but the supply was controlled by, you guessed it, the Ottomans. And let's not forget, this wasn't a friendly trade arrangement. The Europeans weren't exactly sending thank you notes along with their payments. So when Spain and Portugal started looking for alternative routes to Asia, it wasn't just about exploration, it was about bypassing the Ottoman toll booth. But the Ottomans, they didn't seem to care. Why? That's where the story gets interesting. Reason 1, geography. The Ottoman Empire was perfectly positioned to dominate land-based trade routes. Their territory stretched from the Balkans to North Africa and the Middle East. They didn't need to sail the open ocean because the wealth of the world was already flowing through their lands. Think of them as the landlord of the world's biggest mall. Everyone had to pay rent to pass through. Reason 2, they were busy. Like, really busy. The Ottomans were constantly expanding their empire, fighting wars, and managing rebellions. Whether it was battling the Safavids in Persia, pushing into Europe, or dealing with uprisings in the Balkans, they had plenty on their plate. It's like trying to explore a new hobby when your day job is already a 24/7 grind. Reason 3, maritime culture or lack thereof. While the Ottomans had a powerful navy that dominated the Mediterranean, they weren't experts in deep-sea navigation. Unlike Spain and Portugal, who were experimenting with new ship designs and navigating uncharted waters, the Ottomans stuck to what they knew. Imagine having the best kayak on the lake, but not wanting to risk it in the ocean. Reason 4, wealth and complacency. The Ottomans were rich, really rich. They controlled key cities like Cairo, Damascus, and Baghdad, and they didn't see the need to gamble on dangerous ocean voyages. It's the classic, why fix what isn't broken mindset. Why sail halfway around the world when the treasures of the world are already being delivered to your doorstep? And let's not forget politics. The Ottomans were more focused on securing their existing empire than venturing into unknown territories. They had their priorities, and unfortunately for them, exploration wasn't one of them. Now, let's have some fun. Imagine an alternate history where the Ottomans joined the age of exploration. Picture this. Ottoman ships arrive in the Americas, complete with crescent flags and sailors sipping Turkish coffee on deck. The Aztecs are introduced to baklava. Istanbul becomes the center of global trade in not just spices, but chocolate and corn. The world would look very, very different. But here's the kicker. By not participating in the age of exploration, the Ottomans missed out on the massive wealth and influence that came with discovering and colonizing new lands. Spain and Portugal built global empires, while the Ottomans remained focused on their existing territory. In hindsight, it's like refusing to invest in a startup because you think your existing business is doing fine, only to watch that startup become Amazon. Still, let's not be too harsh on the Ottomans. They were incredibly successful in their own right, and their empire lasted for centuries. But it does make you wonder, what if they had taken a different path? So why didn't the Ottomans join the age of exploration? It boils down to geography, priorities, and a bit of overconfidence. They were a land-based superpower with a stronghold on global trade. They didn't see the need to risk it all on the high seas. But by focusing inward, they missed an opportunity to reshape the world in their image. It's a decision that historians still debate to this day. The age of exploration wasn't just about finding new lands. It was about shifting the balance of power. And for better or worse, the Ottomans decided to stick with what they knew. What's your take? Do you think the Ottomans should have joined the race to explore the New World? Or were they right to focus on their land empire? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into history, don't forget to like this video, share it with your history-loving friends, and hit that subscribe button for more stories like this. Until next time, keep exploring the past